So let me just affirm one final time, not only am I not an anti-Semite, and would say so if I was, I'm not an anti-Semite for a very specific reason. Not because it's unpopular or my donors don't like it. I don't have any donors. I'm not an anti-Semite because anti-Semitism is immoral. In my religion, it is immoral to hate people for how they were born.
That was Tucker Carlson falsely defining anti-Semitism in its modern form. He goes on this rant at AmFest, trying to play the moral high ground, trying to play the character who is just, oh, so better than everybody else, trying to play this special person. And he does all of this fiery, this going off on people. He's arguing, he's debating, he's trying to get claps, he's trying to gain popularity. He's just wrong in all of it. What is anti-Semitism? What does it actually mean to be an anti-Semite in today's world? We're going to dive into that. I'm Jared Wright, and this is The Right Wing. I bring you these clips every single day. We dive into full clips so you can see what's going on in the world. What are the actual truths? What are people saying? Because you deserve to know. So hit the like, hit the follow, hit the subscribe, turn the notifications on, because this will be here every single day waiting on you. But let's just dive into the rest of this clip right now so we can see exactly what Tucker says.
So let me just affirm one final time, not only am I not an anti-Semite, and would say so if I was, I'm not an anti-Semite for a very specific reason. Not because it's unpopular or my donors don't like it. I don't have any donors. I'm not an anti-Semite because anti-Semitism is immoral. In my religion, it is immoral to hate people for how they were born. Period. But that is not a limited principle. That is a universal principle. It applies.
Let's just talk about what he's saying. He says that anti-Semitism is a hatred of Jewish people. I don't claim that. I don't know anyone who actually says they're an anti-Semite that claims hatred, actually. I'll claim it. I'll say that I am one because it's the title that people give me, so I might as well claim it. And I don't hate Jewish people. I'm highly critical of them. I'm highly critical of their actions over the last 2,000 years since they killed Christ. Yes, they killed Christ. The Bible's very clear on that. Pilate washes his hands off and they say, we'll take all the blame. Us and our children. That's what they said. So, yes, they killed Christ. I'm very critical of that. I'm very critical of the actions that they've taken, getting kicked out of 109 countries. Does that make me hate them? I don't believe so. I don't believe that's hatred. I believe that's hypercriticalness because they deserve to be analyzed and say, okay, what's the issue here? As with any group of people, if any group of people continually causes problems, it's okay to criticize them and say, why are you causing these problems? What's the deal? Does that mean I'm full of hatred? I don't believe so. But yet I still get called anti-Semite, so I just started accepting it. But Tucker's trying to claim this whole moral high ground. By the way, this is the dude who won Anti-Semite of the Year. How does that work? Let's just keep watching.
To every human being on planet Earth. You may not, you are prohibited by my religion, which is Christianity, from hating people for how they were born. Because God created them with his spark in his image. Because they have souls. You can disagree with them. You can hate their ideas. You may even find yourself, and I do, I'll confess it, hating them for a moment. But you can't hate everyone who's like them. You can't punish people for crimes they didn't commit. That's the basis of our justice system. That's the basis of Christian ethics. That's why.
Okay, we have to be honest what he's doing right here. He's trying to skew this narrative. No, I don't trust Tucker. I don't think he's a very trustworthy individual. I think he's too wishy-washy with this stuff right here. And what he do is he tries to skew the public image and skew the narrative in his favor and then hammer down on that point. That's exactly what he's doing right here. He's trying to make it sound like if you are an anti-Semite, that you hate people just because they are that person. Nobody that I know with any platform is hating on people simply because they are that skin color or of that ethnicity. Nobody. I don't know anybody with a legitimate platform, myself included. I do not hate people just because they're a certain ethnicity, but that's what he wants you to believe. That's what he wants you to think is happening, because then he can play the moral high ground and say, well, my religion says we can't do that. What does your religion say, Christian? That's what he's saying right here. No, we are Christians, but it's okay to be critical as a Christian. You can call people out when they screw up. That's an important note. Tucker doesn't want you to make that note. He doesn't want you to make that connection. He wants to just claim that you hate everybody. That's what he's doing right here. So be very wary when you hear people like this speaking.
Why we have what are called human rights. They apply to every human, not just your group, not just my group, but every group, every human, because we don't consider people in terms of the groups to which they belong. We consider them as individuals the way that God created them. So anti-Semitism is not just naughty, it's immoral. And it is precisely as immoral.
So he just keeps on going. He kind of goes on that whole clip and he goes on this whole rant about anti-Semitism is immoral. Once again, this is your anti-Semite of the year. You think that's not a just completely rigged award? They want people to eventually side with this, where it's okay to be critical, but don't hate. That's kind of what we're doing. But they want you to take his viewpoint, where if you are too critical of a group of people, you become an anti-Semite who hates every one of them, which is not true. But they realize they're losing the media war. Bibi talks about this all the time. Bibi Netanyahu talks about wanting to buy TikTok, wanting to get on Instagram, wanting to do these things to control the narrative. They're losing the narrative. Our generation is waking up. And so how do they avoid this? Well, they paint the picture that if you claim it's all Jewish people, or most of them throughout the last 2,000 years, that you're an anti-Semite and that you hate all of them. No, we're just critical of them. But if they can paint the picture that you are hateful, they can paint the picture that you're not a Christian at all. That's what they want to do. They want to trick you into thinking that criticizing means you're not Christian. Criticizing means you're hateful. And that's not the truth. It is okay. You know what the Bible says? The Bible says, do not judge lest you be judged by the same standard. I want people to judge me by the standard in which I judge. That's biblical. And I think that I judge on a very moral ground. Do you kill innocent people? Have you been kicked out of 109 countries? Your family. That's a pretty moral ground there. Do you rob people with interest rates? I don't do those things, but I'm okay with being judged. If I screw up, love your neighbor means, hey, I would want my neighbor to tell me, hey, you screwed up here, as what I feel. And so, we talk about it. I'm okay with judging in that sense. The Bible does not say do not judge, and that's the end of it. There's very specific parameters. Do not judge if you have a log in your eye and you're talking about this little bitty speck in another's. So that's the point that they're trying to hammer down. They're trying to completely change the narrative and completely just make us seem like we're crazy. And people like Tucker are in on it. People like Tucker push this narrative. That's why I don't trust Tucker. I don't trust his wishy-washiness in this issue. But if you want to see more, if you want to learn more biblically and religiously and as Christianity goes, follow the channel. This is The Right Wing, and I'm Jared Wright. So hit the like, hit the follow, the subscribe. I'm here every single day so that you can see these clips because you deserve to see. You deserve to wake up. You deserve to know the truth. I hope you have a great day.